Hi guys, Billy Cosmosis, and I thought I'd explain my live set, or specifically how I connect my guitar to my computer when I play live gigs, because it's probably the most common question I get, mainly from other instrumentalists or people that use a live instrument in a kind of techno or trance music context live, is how do you connect an instrument? And also keep it portable, because doing international gigs you can't really take an amplifier on the plane and all the kind of rock and roll setup which you need for guitar really in a rock music context. So how do you keep it all manageable and make it fit in a DJ bag so you can take it on a plane? So here we are. I've gone through several setups over the years and I've shrunk it down to the minimum weight, especially with flights these days. They don't let you take anything on, not like it used to be. So I originally used to take a pedal on stage because that's my preferred way of doing things as a guitarist. But there's a big disadvantage to that. And that's the disadvantage. This weighs a ton. It's built like a tank out of sheet steel. It's an awesome pedal, sounds fantastic, and does the job brilliantly. And you can tap dance away and Fred Astaire away into fantastic sounds. All of your sounds are at your disposal, and great. But getting on a plane is a nightmare. And that didn't stop me for years. For years I carried that pedal or something similar around. Good 5 or 6 years on international gigs, carrying suitcases to the pain in the ass. So I've thought again, and I've finally kind of shrunk it down to this setup which I have now, which is, oh by the way, the thing about that is I used to take cables as well, cables to connect it to the mixer, and also it has to go underneath. Sometimes on dark DJ stages, you're tripping over it and another DJ's playing, you're trying to put it down, and it's a nightmare. Plus you have to put the MIDI cable to sync the echo time, the delay time to the computer. Loads of cables, even that weighs pretty much a kilo, all the cables and stuff, plus that, nightmare. So shrunk it down. This is what I've got now. I am using, if I press my button here, you'll see a guitar rig. It doesn't have to be guitar rig, it can be any kind of software that you want, but the point is it goes inside the computer and it doesn't weigh anything. Fantastic. Thing is though, if you use software, you've got to use a really good sound card, or put it this way, you've got to use a good sound card that's got good drivers, well-written drivers, that you can use at low latency. Because otherwise you're playing a note and then you have a millisecond, if you've got tens of milliseconds and you notice it, and if you play fast there's less than that amount between the notes, so it's a mess, it doesn't work. So you've got to get your latency down, below 10 milliseconds, preferably 5. I think I'm running 3 milliseconds on this, a round trip of about 6 milliseconds. So that's perfectly acceptable. That's a similar kind of thing, delay between playing and hearing the sound. It's the equivalent of being about 15 feet away from an amplifier on a stage, and that's completely acceptable. There's no problem in terms of the sound. It takes time to hit your ears. So that's acceptable. So you've got to get a good sound card with well-written drivers. This works. RMEs work. Loads of them do now. Do your research. So, software, wicked. Now, sort of cables. I've been using this for years. It's a transmitter and receiver, and weighs less than a one quite long cable, just the pair together. Runs on batteries, rechargeable, 9 volt. I take a couple of spares of being fully charged, and the transmitter also runs for about, on a tiny AAA battery, and that lasts about 5 hours. I take a bunch of spares of those as well. So sorted. And range, it works about 30 meters, 30 meters about max. Line of sight, you can't be behind some metal wall or something, or a big concrete block. It doesn't really work. It kind of does a bit at close range, but line of sight 30 meters, which means I can kind of walk around the stage and no tripping over cables, no having to manage the cable behind you, and it means I can lark about and get down in front of the audience and have a bit of fun with people. Okay, so that's that. Now how it works. This is a receiver box, MIDI cable, audio cable, mono cable, into your input. Set your input so it doesn't distort, and then whack this into your guitar, like so. Turn it on, turn this on, and voila, there you have it. There's you have your sound. And wireless. A couple of things to note as well is, I don't know whether they all do this, but this, if you turn it off, the transmitter off, so there's no signal, no transmission, then you get a white noise burst, or constant white noise coming from the transmitter when there's no connection, which is going into your input and it's coming up on your channel. So live, that's just making a racket. I've been caught out a few times like that, thinking what's happening? Oh, it's this. And I've got my live input on a fader, by the way, when I'm playing gigs. So that's my volume. And I've got it set, so the top is where it should be. And it's perfectly mixed in the track, the guitar. But sometimes if I'm playing on a smaller rig and it's got a lot of compression on it, I actually need to boost the guitar a bit because everything's kind of held underneath. So I've got a little 4 dB boost on that travel of the knob there, so I can kind of go to 11. Yeah, it's one more, isn't it? Okay. Another thing about this particular one is it's got a pad on it, an input pad of 12 dB, I think, and you don't want to be knocking that live, because you're in the middle of setting up. You need everything to be working. So I blocked that with a piece of cardboard stuffed in there, so I can't move the switch. Getting these things sorted out. So you can eliminate any possible errors when you're in a stressful situation in a dark stage and you've got 3 minutes to set up, and oh my god, getting all this kind of stuff sorted out is minimising the amount of things it can fuck up is really a good idea. Okay, now that you've got your input coming into your sound card, in this case it's going into input 2, that's my receiver. Now let me show you how it's routed in live. So this is the guitar rig channel here, and it's coming into input 2, as you can see, external in, audio from external in, and it's number 2 in particular, and monitor is set to in, so I'm going to hear anything that's coming into that channel, and that is going, the audio is going to master, so that's going to go to the master channel, and it's going to be mixed with the rest of the stuff that's happening and going to the master. It's as simple as that. However, a slight wrinkle is that I have a couple of loops set up here, which might be worth pointing out at the risk of confusing you. These two are just simple loops that I've got set up, and you can see the input is coming from guitar rig, and this one's coming from guitar rig. It's going to master, going to master. Okay, and these are set to, the monitoring is set to off. Because I don't want to hear the monitor of that and that. So those are set to off monitor. And here we are. This is what's controlling those. A couple of loops here. This is the loop. This is the record. If I hit this, and if I hit it again, it'll stop looping and immediately start playing. If I want to delete the loop, I just hit B. And this is the same start record business and delete for the second loop. And this pedal is really useful because it's very light and it's Bluetooth. So you just need to install this software here and you're away. There you go. It could use some flexibility, but I've hacked my way around its limitations because I like the form factor so much, the fact that it's light and easy to chuck in a DJ bag. And what I've actually done to hack it is to use this thing called MIDI stroke for Mac. Oh God, it does this sometimes. I don't quite know. If I quit it and open it again, that'll show you the window. Okay, so I've set this so when it receives program change messages 1, 2, and 3, and 4, number 1, it's gonna spit out a keystroke when it hears program change number 1. When it hears number 2, it's going to send a string of commands. 1, Q, in other words, go to that cell here. J, which is select this channel, and then delete. So it's going to find that cell and then delete it. And I've got the same for loop 2. So that's a bit of a hack, but it works really well. Yes, so that's that. A couple of other tips. Quite useful on Guitar Rig or whatever software that you use, that when you bring it up like this, if you have the tuner at the top, it's really handy. I've got it assigned to a button, so I can just press it and the whole thing comes up. So bang, there's my tuner, so I can tune. Obviously I'm going to mute the guitar when I tune on stage like that, then I can tune. Because an in-tune guitar is better. If you're not in tune, it sucks. Okay, so that's that. Let me demonstrate the looping thing. Let me jam a bit. What we got here? Rastafari. That looping, right? Okay, so here we go. And I can affect it. Got a band pass phase on there. hours of fun. I hope that helps you.